Hey guys, welcome to the Liberal Hive Mind. And speaking of the Liberal Hive Mind, oh boy is the panic about to set in. Now look, a lot of people have said a bunch of things about Vivek Ramaswamy over the last couple of months, and of course things got a little bit messy towards the end of the primary there, after Donald Trump claimed that Vivek was quote, not MAGA. I personally chose not to feed too much into it, really not to pay attention to it at all. I viewed it as the sort of petty squabbling that you'd expect in a primary season, not really reading into it. My perspective is still pretty simple. I like Ron DeSantis, I like Vivek Ramaswamy, I like Donald Trump, and I very, very much dislike Nikki Haley. You know, maybe I called out Ron DeSantis a couple times just because I thought it wasn't his time and I disliked the idea that he was running in general, but for the most part I didn't want to feed too much into the infighting. And very simply the reason that is because after the primary season is done, well, look what happens. It seems as though the party is uniting, but most importantly the politicians, or rather, grassroots Republican leaders, are starting to merge together to form frickin' ultra MAGA Voltron. You know, I knew it was coming, and so I patiently waited, and boy, it seems like it's already here. Donald Trump and Vivek teaming up together in what might be the most epic political dynamic duo of all time. So obviously, we got a lot to talk about, but before we get into any of it, this video is actually brought to you guys by a sponsor, so let's play that clip. This video is brought to you guys by long-term channel sponsor, Raycon. People, it's time to drop the wires. No more tangled mess in your pocket or your purse. No more wrestling with wires to get your earbuds in, or dodging flailing cords as you're trying to exercise while listening to music. It's time to go wireless. That's what I do when I'm on the run. In fact, that's what my entire family does, and the brand that we use when it comes to all of our audio needs is, of course, Raycon. More specifically, the Raycon Everyday Earbuds. Folks, this is the product. It's the creme de la creme. And this year, Raycon's Everyday Earbuds look, feel, and sound better than ever. Sporting a beautiful, slick design with optimized gel tips to fit even the most stubborn of ear. And trust me when I tell you my ears are certainly stubborn. You got 8 hours of playtime on individual use and 32 hours of battery life total when using the charging case, and on top of all of it, all this quality, all of this incredible quality for roughly half the price of other premium audio brands. With Raycon, you get a killer deal and there's really no catch. It's not like you need to compromise on features and quality. You get everything for a better price. From customizable sound profiles to earbud tap functions, noise isolation and awareness mode, the list goes on. Pretty much everything you get with some of the most expensive products out there, you get with Raycon for a better price. And the best part of all, folks, is with this exclusive offer, you can get all of that for an even better price. By simply going to buyraycon.com/hivemind, you can take advantage of 15% off your Raycon purchase, plus free shipping. It doesn't get any better than that, friends. A huge thank you to Raycon. Now back to the video. Alright folks, so I maybe got a little bit off track in the intro for a second, or I was trying to make a point but I didn't really make it. You know, a lot of people say a lot of things about Vivek, but one thing I think we can all agree on in our analysis of the man as a political figure is he's an absolute beast, especially when it comes to campaigning. Vivek went from 0% to 8% with the media literally pretending like he didn't exist. This was CNN and Fox News and other news outlets, right ahead of the Iowa caucus.
Former President Trump remains the frontrunner with 48% of likely Republican caucus goers favoring Trump. Haley now polling at 20%, with DeSantis trailing behind at 16%.
But there's still a lot of love in Iowa for the former president. Latest Fox polling shows former President Trump is leading in the Iowa caucuses. Fighting for second place is former UN Ambassador Nikki Haley and Florida Governor Ron DeSantis.
They didn't even include him on the graphic, even though he launched an amazing grassroots movement. Despite the fact that the media ignored him, they didn't really give him any airtime, he made it work with a solid ground game, but especially taking advantage of independent media. He's a force to be reckoned with, to be honest. He might be the greatest communicator in politics right now. And now, of course, knowing that, understanding that concept, things get real interesting after watching this.
Thank you. Thank you. Wow, how was that? Pretty good, right? That was pretty good, and he's a fantastic guy, and he's really, he's got something that's very special because he started off with a Zippo, and he ended up very strong. He did a great job. I was actually surprised when he called because he was doing well, and it's an honor to have his endorsement. He's going to be working with us, and he'll be working with us for a long time. Thank you.
Now, I know there's a lot of talk about the potential of Vivek Ramaswamy as Donald Trump's vice presidential candidate. I think even Elon Musk alluded on Twitter that he'd love to see it. I think a lot of people would love to see it, including me. Although, to be honest, I'm a little bit iffy on the idea of having two alpha dogs like Trump and Vivek on the same ticket. It's something that I'd personally like to see, but I don't know if it's going to happen, so it's hard to speculate, even though it seems as though Trump kind of alluded to it, or at least alluded to some sort of a cabinet position for Vivek. You know, the conversation's speculative in nature, of course, and what I think is probably the most important factor in terms of the current happening, what I got from this video that I just played earlier, is that Vivek is going on the campaign trail with Donald Trump. Vivek is one of the best campaigners I've ever seen. To be honest, I mean, Trump and Vivek, to me, are two of the best campaigners I've ever seen. And so now they're going on the campaign trail, and maybe even Vivek could be sent as a surrogate to other places to campaign for Donald Trump. And that's where his value, I think, really shines. And I think we saw that value in real time during that exact same event. In fact, Vivek might be so valuable that maybe that's the reason Fox News decided to cut away from him.
We believe those ideals still exist. This man is going to be your next president to revive them. E pluribus unum, from many, one. And you know how we're doing it? We're doing it by speaking the truth at every step of the way. There are two genders in this country. Period. That is the truth. Fossil fuels are a requirement for human prosperity. Drill, frack, burn coal, embrace nuclear energy. Reverse racism is racism. An open border is not a border. Parents determine the education of their children. The nuclear family is the greatest form of governance known to mankind. Capitalism lifts us up from poverty. There are 3 branches of government in the United States, not 4. And the U.S. Constitution is the strongest and greatest guarantor of freedom in human history. That is the truth. We fight for the truth.
Joining us now is Ari Fleischer, former White House press secretary, Fox News contributor.
I mean, just take a look at Donald Trump's face, standing behind Vivek there. You know, Trump is always in crowd work calculation mode. He's watching the crowd go absolutely wild for what Vivek is saying. It seemed almost like it was a little bit of a realization moment for Trump, as in, hey, maybe I can use some of these talking points. These talking points are pretty freaking badass. And so hopefully I'm making the point clear here. You know, these two guys side by side, they maybe had that little awkward interaction at first that a lot of people are attempting to read into. Look at the body language. I think, again, it's just like two alpha dogs trying to interact with each other. Maybe Vivek just wanted to come off with presence and strong, because we know what Trump does to people who have weak presence.
And in politics, than a firm handshake. For Trump, it's a full contact sport, and he's got a few power moves. The first we'll call the inward yank. An example, when he announced his Supreme Court nominee. Missed it? Slow it down. And from the side, not one, but 2 yanks.
The infamous Donald Trump handshake. Maybe Vivek was trying to avoid that. Who knows? But anyways, people want to emphasize on the body language and how supposedly weird and awkward it was, but I'm rather focused on the messaging and really the strength that someone like Vivek can bring to the Trump campaign. I mean, from my perspective, it's on like freaking Donkey Kong, and the left has something seriously powerful to contend with moving forward. Donald Trump's messaging and Donald Trump's platform is slowly getting better and better and more refined, and someone like Vivek, of course, can help there. Meanwhile, the other side's messaging, well,
2 of the great artists of our time representing the groundbreaking legacy of hip-hop in America, LL Cool J.
You know, I don't think my butt's been wiped Joe stands a chance on the campaign trail. I don't think he's really going to be campaigning at all. He's probably mostly going to be calling a lid like he has been lately, going back to the bunker, back to the basement as per usual. Meanwhile, these two rock stars are going to be on a freaking tear across the nation, a coast-to-coast tour, and I'm all here for it. Is Vivek going to be the vice president? Maybe, maybe not, probably not. We have absolutely no idea. At this point, it literally doesn't matter. I guess we'll have to see. I think it's certainly possible, but as of right now, it doesn't matter, because things are looking good. It looks like we're on the up and up here, as strong conservative voices rally together to kick out the current clown occupying the White House. I'm just glad that Trump sees Vivek's value. He did say specifically that Vivek is going to be with us and working with us for a, quote, long time.
It's an honor to have his endorsement. He's going to be working with us, and he'll be working with us for a long time.
And I think for the most part, that's a good thing. There's obvious concerns as to whether or not Mr. Ramaswamy's intentions are pure or authentic. I mean, he's says all the right things, but does he actually mean it? Well, if he works in the Trump administration or gets a cabinet position, if he ends up leaving the private sector to pursue a career in public service here, it's going to give us time to get to really know him, to get to see him in a role. And who knows, maybe he could dispel some of the mistrust. Maybe he'll end up winning the majority over. And maybe, just maybe, he'll be prepped to run in 2028, taking that position that Ron DeSantis should have had if he didn't throw his hat in the ring in 2024, which obviously, I think in hindsight, wasn't exactly the best idea. But we'll have to see. Those are basically my thoughts as of right now. Let me know what you guys think in the comment section. If you like the video, like it. If you want to subscribe, then go for it. Nobody's forcing you, only if you really want to join us here. Thanks for watching, friends, and I'll see you on the next one.